Welcome back to Doc's Hot Shop and Forge. So today I'm going to continue using the miniature anvil series of Viking reproduction things, and I'm going to try and make a small eating knife out of a piece of wrought iron and a piece of spring steel. I don't know if I've got enough spring steel to make it work, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten out probably about 6 centimeters of this to about 5 millimeters in thickness, form a taco type shell for want of a better term, and then having made this into a crude wedge, trap this in there and then forge weld the whole lot together and hopefully draw out a functional little knife. So, the fire is lit, let's get things hot and let's get things underway. Let's see if this works. Alright, it's not too bad. Let's get this area really hot so we can start deforming it a bit. Alright, let's see how much of this we can draw. I don't think we're going to be able to draw out enough of that. It's too thin. Let's see if we can recycle the scrap from last time. So I'll leave this one to cool off a bit. Alright. Now this is probably going to be the crumbly bit. So that's about where we want that end. And that end we're going to leave sticking out so that the burnt bit gets chopped off at the end. Let's do the other end. So we've still got a little bit in the middle that's too thick right about there. One last straightening. Now we need to make the teeth on it. See how well it stands. It's the burnt end, so we want to hold on to that end. Okay, I hope those are deep enough to do the job. Alright, let's get the duckle. Now this is a bit risky, I'm trying to get some flux that up a little bit and then we'll weld it. We're going to have to cut that tip off before it burns. Now we do have a bit of cracking here, which we're going to get rid of. Now I had hoped that I'd had got enough off to have eliminated that problem, but obviously not. Okay, we're going to draw out the tang. And now I'm going to draw in the bevels, or at least start. So, let's bring the point around. Sacrificing this heat, clean it up a little. Now we've got to get that edge down a bit more. Alright, let's straighten this thing so we can give it a bit of an annealing. First of all, we're going to do a little bit of profiling just to tidy it up. Now, even though that is annealed, that still gives right up. Can't set that down because of the cut noise. Now in theory there should be steel all the way to the tip. Because we cut off and then forged round. You can still see some of that cut there. Get rid of that. You can definitely hear the difference between here where it's not iron and here where it's steel. Now, it's a lot thicker than a traditional one knife would be. Making that form. So we'll leave this area here alone. It's going to get in there, and the inside actually squaring out a little bit, so it's not supported in here. But we can use the rest of the edge. What I might do is go to the grinder, so grind that in. scratches left. So I'm currently sanding with 180 because I finished on the belt sander at the 120. Okay, that's the majority of it done. I've still got a couple of little scratches right in the ricasso, or what would be the ricasso. This doesn't actually have one. Okay, we can flip her over. Alright, so I'm going to turn the blade so it's facing this way, so I can work closer to this edge because it's a bit more comfortable. I won't record the rest of this hand sanding process because it really is just that, hand sanding. So I'll show you guys when this thing's getting ready for hardening and tempering, and then again when it's being etched. Right now we're working on giving it a bit of a couple of normalising cycles just to refine the grain structure. Alright, so now we're doing the final normalising. We'll tweak the handle once it's cold because the handle is all wrought iron. Cracks. And it hasn't warped. So that's a few seconds in. Already see a bit of a difference. Alright, it's been about half an hour, which I think is probably about right. So, I'll give this a further etch and some coffee just to darken things up. Now, areas where it's gotten particularly dark tend to have higher carbon, lower nickel levels, and the steel I used is about as simple a carbon steel as you can get. Always have something handy to neutralize with. So this is bicarb. So, that's the etch that we got. Not bad. Alright, I'll leave it in coffee for a few hours and then we'll have another look. So this is coffee. Incidentally, if you're wondering what sort of coffee this is, it's whatever was cheap. Jerry rig, fine. Normally I just Anything I'm etching I just dip full depth, but I'm only just doing the blade on this. Alright, let's have a look at this. It's looking pretty good. The rest of the stuff off. Now, so there we go. Now this is highly refined wrought, so it doesn't show much patterning. It's a bit out. There's a little bit at the tip, but it does show a nice differentiation from the carbon steel. So that's the little knife finished. We've ended up with just on 5 centimeters of blade length that's usable. There's another centimeter or so if you feel like cutting deeper, but it doesn't have cutting edge up in here, because I just felt that the steel was too unsupported because it wasn't quite inside the wrought weld area. So it's been etched. I gave it a trip in some hydroferric acid and then some coffee to darken it up a little bit more. So it's come up pretty nicely. And it just highlights how much evolving there was between that style of anvil and the modern London pattern anvil. There was a lot of steps in the making of this that on a London pattern anvil would have been second nature to me, but with this tiny little anvil there was so much figuring out how to do things, which really does slow you down. So how well does this thing work, and does it hold an edge? I've just given it a quick sharpen, haven't really spent all that much time on it. So let's have a look, see if it shaves. So yep, it shaves. Nice little bald patch happening. So what's next for the Mastermyr project? I think I'm going to tackle the hacksaw, which will involve making the hacksaw blade, which I'll forge out of a similar piece of this, because this is good high quality wrought iron, very few laminations, so it should forge out nice and clean. And then I will be attempting to case harden or case carburize the hacksaw blade, and then we'll see how we go with making a frame out of wrought iron and just generally how that sort of hacksaw worked. The overall length of it will be 24 centimeters, with the blade being probably somewhere in the vicinity of 16 to 18 centimeters long. I'll have to find a nice little chisel, or possibly make a nice little chisel for making the teeth, and figure out some way to do the case hardening and preserve those teeth throughout the process, and see how we go. And this is going to be a very challenging project, so look out for that. I now have an Etsy shop as well for some of the surplus stuff that I make, link down below. What's there is usually what I've got in stock. If there's something specific that you'd want, feel free to shoot me a message, and I will try to get onto that or get back to you as soon as I possibly can. I now have a Patreon. The link is down below. Your donations through that channel help to support my channel financially. which allows for things like cameras, lights, the paneling I put up to cut down on road noise. And any donation you make through that avenue is just that, a donation. The content will always be free. So if you've enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up. Feel free to share on social media. And if you haven't already hit the subscribe button, I'd love it if you did. And when you do, remember to ring the notification bell. I try to upload on a regular schedule, but I don't always achieve that. So the bell's a really handy way to find out when I've uploaded. So get out to your shop, have fun, challenge yourself, do something that puts you outside of your comfort zone. This definitely did for me. But above all, stay safe, and I'll catch you for the next one.